So apparently the Goblin Queen got a secret buff and the King got a secret nerf. So earlier I was just scrolling through Reddit and I came across a merge tactics post and one of the images caught my eye and it showed the Goblin Queen having 12 HP. And I double backed on this and I was like, what? So I checked the dev build, I checked the description, and then I realized there's no mention of any HP. So I just jumped into a game and yeah, the Goblin Queen now has 12 HP. Another image also showed the King having 10 HP now. So I checked the descriptions. They really got to list the HP in the descriptions and it's not listed there, and I checked again and the King does have 10 HP now instead of 12. So yeah, very unnecessary and kind of random Goblin Queen buff, but I kind of want to test her out and see if she's a lot better. But first, since no article listed this, we're going to go and check every single ruler and I'm going to see if the HP has changed at all. Alright, I just got into a game, still has 10 HP. I'm just going to go by these pretty quickly. Next is the Loong, he also still has 10 HP. The Battle Machine still has 10 HP as well. Echo Sage, thank God, has the same. Dagger Duchess has the same as well. And Grand Warden has the same. Okay, so the only two rulers with different HP are the King, which has 10 now instead of 12. I don't really know why they nerfed the King like that, and the Goblin Queen, which has 12 now instead of 10. But also, a lot of the cards have changed elixir cost, so I'm just going to go through those since I didn't really go through that last time. So off first glance, the Mini P.E.K.K.A is 3 elixir now instead of 2. The Prince is 3 instead of 4. The Dark Goblin, I think, is 3 instead of 2. I think it was 2 last season. And then the Giant is 4 elixir. I think it was 3 last season. The Skeleton Dragons and the Wizard are both 4 elixir instead of 2 last season. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So there are a lot of secret balance changes that I guess I don't think they're secret because they're probably going to have an article coming out when the new season actually starts. But I just wanted to let you guys know ahead of time. Now what I'm going to do for the rest of the videos, I'm going to actually equip the Goblin Queen and we're going to play a match because I do want to see how good the Goblin Queen is while I talk about what I actually think about the new update, because I know that, most of you probably have, a question about, the trait reworks, right? Because I was, talking to some people about this, and obviously most of the update is just kind of objectively good, like, new cards, ruler quests, I guess. I don't really see how that can like harm the game. I guess orbs are like more RNG based, so that's a pretty big. Also, why did the wait, why is the arena like poisonous? Oh, it's like a new modifier, okay. But yeah, obviously, I guess the orbs are pretty controversial because those are more RNG based. So yeah, I guess those two things, but also we have 2 progress for the ruler quest. So we're almost at our first orb. Oh, we actually just got a free Goblin Peach. And the orbs are different colors now. I feel like an approach they're trying to do, I was talking about this with someone else in the Discord server. I think they're trying to make the game a lot like TFT, but just like a version that's much easier to get into. So I'm mostly going to talk about 2 changes. The first is going to be the rework to having only 1 trait per troop, because I think that's the most controversial change. And the second one is going to be ruler quest, with all the new orbs, because I think a lot of people just dislike how that's probably going to be more RNG based. Okay, nice. We actually win that round. So first, regarding the the trait changes to only 1 trait. I keep buying the Wizard because I keep forgetting that he's 4 elixir now. Because I think that's probably the biggest change. So I actually thought about this, and I do initially think that making each troop only have 1 trait does limit the creativity behind comp building. That's probably like the most like common argument I feel like that people have, like, oh well, if troops only have 1 trait now, then you're not going to be able to mix and match as much, which is my exact argument as well. But I did ask a dev about this, and okay, so we actually got our second quest orb. Sorry, like a little sidetrack. We got our second quest orb. I'm like actually pretty curious to see what this looks like, and I'm just gonna go for. Sorry that I'm kind of edging you guys right now. Oh, we got a ranger's crossbow, so that's actually pretty good. I'm just gonna go for the 6 goblins, I guess, just to like kind of test that out. But basically, I asked the dev about the rationale behind the change, and he said 2 things. The first is that making troops only have 1 trait each makes the, I guess, barrier of entry to merge. I don't want to misquote him, but I believe that's what he was sort of saying, the idea. The barrier of entry much like lower, it's easier to get into because having 2 traits per troop is somewhat complicated, and having only 1 trait is much simpler. Now, this point I actually do agree with, because just like coming from the perspective of like a new player, for example, the merge tactics, you open up the game and you see all these different things, right? You see like this entire board, you see well, now there's like 34 different troops. You see all these rulers, like HP, Elixir, modifier. Like there's a lot of things, right? And I feel like that's one of the things that sort of dissuades people from getting to the game. It's like, where do I even begin? And a funny story is actually my dad tried to play and my dad's friend tried to play, and both their thoughts behind it was like, yeah, I don't really know where to start, right? Things are confusing. So I can actually see the reasoning behind that. I do think that's a pretty sound argument to make. So I do see that for sure. And the second point is that, well, the game with 2 traits per troop is just too repetitive, because you can just like memorize these comps and just spam these comps. Which is like a valid concern, because people do that, and I feel like that does make the game a little more boring, because you just memorize the same comps and spam the same comps. But I feel like that's sort of inevitable with like any auto chess game, because like I feel like it's just impossible to like perfectly balance, every single card, right? Every comp. So I feel like that's sort of inevitable. So that one I just don't really see, but I am quite curious to see how it pans out, because they obviously added a lot more things. Like they added orbs, equipment as well. Also, that Ranger's crossbow kind of went crazy. But I guess with orb, I mean, maybe if you get like a 2-star troop in one category, you can just build to that. If you get like a certain equipment, I guess, like a clan horn, you can just add the clan trait later. I guess I don't really see how this would exactly like satisfy that concern, like how this would make the game like less repetitive, because I do feel like there comes with a certain flexibility with having 2 traits per card, because then they can fill like 2 different sort of comps. But I'm not sure exactly, so I'm kind of curious to see how that pans out. So I guess overall regarding the trait change, like partially I can see the reasoning, but I just don't really see it. And we actually did get the Goblin one quite easily, but I'm curious to see how it pans out. So I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I just don't like this change. I would encourage you to just see how it pans out, and if you don't like it, that's fair, right? That's sort of my perspective here. And the second point I want to talk about is the new ruler quest. A lot of people, I guess slash orbs, a lot of people are saying like it's going to make the game way more RNG, which they don't like, which is a very good point, because if you recall, from the quest orbs, you get a random reward. You get, a troop, elixir, or you get a piece of equipment. I feel like if you now... I think it's a 1/3 chance per each. I actually don't really know what the odds are, but I feel like if you get a quest 3 orb and you get a piece of equipment, that's going to be very bad compared to a 3-star troop, or 20 elixir. So I feel like, yeah, it does add a bit more luck. I feel like the route they're trying to go is they're trying to satisfy casual players more. I don't know if this is exactly what casual players want, if they want more RNG. But, I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll spice things up. Maybe it'll just make it more RNG and it more infuriating. I'm not sure. Overall, I do think this update is very risky. It can go very well if, they actually execute things and it really meets their vision. Or it can go really bad if these things sort of backfire. So I think it's the riskiest update they've done by far. So those are my thoughts on the update. And like overall, like we're facing bots, but I do think the Goblin Queen is just way stronger now that she has 12 health. And I don't think her ruler quests are especially difficult to do either. Like 3 goblins is light work. 10 goblins I feel like is also like somewhat light work. Like you can consistently get the first 2 ruler quests, but the third one, I don't know. Like the third one doesn't seem that hard either, to be fair. So I guess we'll see how the Goblin Queen does. I think she'll be pretty good after this change. I really don't know why they changed her. But let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.